this episode of Those Who Followed, we are going to a home in Medina, to a woman whose courage, love, and faith quietly changed the story of Islam, Hazrat Sulaim radiallahu anha, also known as Rumaisa bint Milhan. She was not just the mother of the famous companion Anas ibn Malik. She was one of the first women of Medina to embrace Islam, and a woman whose dowry was not gold but Iman itself. Before Islam came to Yathrib, Sulaim lived in a society marked by tribal conflict, but she herself was known for her strong character and intelligence. She was married to Malik ibn Nadr, a respected merchant, and together they had a son we know by name, Anas ibn Malik, who would later become one of the great narrators of Hadith. Islam entered her life through the early dawah in Medina, when Mus'ab bin Umair radiallahu anhu came to quietly call people to the message of the Prophet. Sulaim accepted Islam straight away, becoming one of the earliest women in Medina to say, "I believe." Her husband Malik did not share that faith. When he saw her praying and teaching young Anas about Allah and His Messenger, he became angry and demanded she return to their old religion, but she stayed firm. The tension in their home grew, but Sulaim chose belief over comfort. Malik eventually left Medina and died away from home without accepting Islam, leaving her a young widow with children and a new faith that could easily have been shaken. But she remained steadfast. Some time later, one of the most admired men of Medina, Abu Talha al-Ansari, came to ask for her hand. He was handsome, wealthy, and noble, and he assumed that any woman would be delighted to marry him. But Sulaim looked beyond all of that to a simple, decisive question: faith. She told him, "A man like you is not rejected, O Abu Talha, but you are a disbeliever, and I am a Muslim. It is not permissible for me to marry you. If you accept Islam, that will be my dowry, and I will ask nothing else from you." Her words stayed with him. She reminded him that the idol he worshipped was just wood carved by a human being, something that could burn in a fire. Could that really be a Lord? Abu Talha returned, having reflected on her words, and he embraced Islam. They married, and Anas later said that there was no dowry more noble than the dowry of Sulaim, because her dowry was Islam. When the Prophet migrated to Medina, Sulaim wanted to give something of herself to serve the message she had believed in from the beginning. She brought her young son to the Prophet and said, "O Messenger of Allah, this is my son Anas, and he will be at your service," gifting her child's time and energy for the sake of Allah. The Prophet accepted Anas as a servant and made dua for him, that Allah bless his wealth, his children, and his life. And Anas would later say that he saw the fruits of that dua in everything he was given. Sulaim radiallahu anha set aside a space in her home for prayer, and the Prophet would visit that house often, pray there, and rest there, treating her like close family. Anas narrates that there was no house in Medina the Prophet entered as frequently at the house of Sulaim and Abu Talha, and he would lead them and the orphans she cared for in prayer on a simple mat. Her love for the Prophet was tender and sincere. When he would sweat on hot days while resting, she would collect some of his sweat and mix it with perfume, seeking barakah. And when he asked, she simply said, "It is blessing, O Messenger of Allah." Her home became a place of dua, miracles, and memories, a house honored by the Prophet and lifted by her hospitality and faith. Courage beside him. Sulaim was not only devoted in the home, she was also brave on the battlefield. In the campaigns with the Prophet, she would carry water, tend to the wounded, and support the Muslim army however she could. In one battle, Abu Talha noticed her carrying a knife and asked her about it. She said that if anyone tried to attack the Prophet from behind or harm him, she would stand firm and defend him, showing her fierce loyalty and courage. From her marriage to Abu Talha, Sulaim had a beloved little boy, sometimes remembered by his kunya Abu Umair, whose simple pet bird the Prophet would playfully ask about. Their son fell suddenly ill and passed away while Abu Talha was away from home. As a mother, she felt deep grief. She asked her family not to tell her husband immediately so she could break the news herself with wisdom. When he returned, she served him dinner and responded gently when he asked about the boy, saying he was more at ease than before, then waited until after the night they spent together to speak about what had happened. She then gave him an analogy. If something precious is loaned to a family and the owner asked for it back, can they refuse? When he said no, she told him to hope for reward from Allah for their son, explaining that Allah has taken back his trust. Abu Talha went to the Prophet to tell him everything, and the Prophet made a special dua for the night they had shared, asking Allah to bless it. Sulaim later became pregnant, and the child born from that blessed night was named Abdullah by the Prophet himself. Abdullah grew up with faith and had many children, several of whom became scholars and reciters of the Quran. So, the blessing of that patient night spread across generations. The Prophet also said that he saw in a dream that he entered paradise and saw a Rumaisa, the wife of Abu Talha. So, who is Hazrat Sulaim among those who followed? She is the woman who accepted truth at its first call, who refused to trade faith for comfort, who made Islam itself her dowry, and who handed over her beloved son to serve the Messenger of Allah. She is the one whose home the Prophet loved to visit, who stood with courage in times of fear, and who showed extraordinary patience in the face of loss, trusting that whatever Allah takes, He can replace with something better in this life and the next. If we remember her, we don't just remember a name in our history. We remember a way of living, choosing Allah over status, choosing faith over fear, and turning even the hardest moments into doors of sadaqah, service and sabr. May Allah make us among those who followed the path of Sulaim, and may He reunite us with her, her family and the Prophet in Jannah.